Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're gonna be carrying on our series. And if you guys remember, what we did in the last episode is that we have finishing up our resources management and taking resources and all sorts of stuff. Now what we're gonna be doing today is before we carry on with our logic, because what I want to do in the future now is that I want to make sure that if the character gets a near stone, it must have a pickaxe on the inventory or somewhere that it allow him to interact with the actor. But we're not gonna do that one yet. Today we're gonna be focused on audios, right? Because we have some audios in here when he's hitting a house, footsteps, and all sorts of stuff. Right, so first thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna work out on the footsteps. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go back to what is it? The character. I think I need the animations. Let me just open up here this blueprint. There we go. And I just need to know which one is the one we're using for the animations here. So we're gonna go back to graph. Locomotion, walk and run, that, and we're using just a dash walk, which is this animation here. Right, so as you can see here, we already have a play sound that Epic has included for us here, because I exported from the crop out sample. So all you're gonna do here is just need to find the footsteps, and you just play the footsteps in here. So it's kind of already like halfway done for us. But if you don't know how to do this from scratch, all you gotta do on the notifies, you just right click and then you add the notify, and then you can use like a play sound, play particle, and all sorts of stuff. Of course, if you have to create something more specific to your game, you're gonna have to create a custom one like we did for the interaction. But so far, I think this should work. Let's see. Yep. It's working. It's very low at the moment. Let me just increase my audio here. Yeah, it's working. Cool. So as you can see, that's working fine. Cool. Now the next thing that I am gonna do here is that I want the actor to play. Let me just close that. So when he's interacting with wood or constructing something or whatever, I want him to play audio, right? And the way to do that, it's very simple as well. You're gonna go to the content. You're gonna go to crop out sample. Let's go to characters, animations, and in here, let's go back to this. And as you can see, you're gonna have like an impact, right? What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna add a new notify track, and I'm gonna add play sound. And the sound that I want to play is just the building. I think we have something here called building or house. There we go. Character create a house. Nice. So let's see if that works. So if I press play and I bring out a house here, as you can see, that's working. Really cool stuff. Nice. We got a house right there. Great. So the next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna go for mining, and around here we're gonna add a track. We're gonna play a sound, and the one we're looking for is called mining, I think, or stone. Let's go stone. All right. Stone. Put down watering. Let me see what other audios do we have here. So just on the mining, let me just go back to that. I'm gonna add this to the favorites. Where is it? Add favorites. Cool. So we have harvest, we have harvest wood and harvest pig wood and all that stuff. So this one, big food, harvest wood. All right. So let's go back to put it down. We're gonna do this one in a minute, but let's just go back to the watering. And in here, I'm gonna add a new notification track. And I'm gonna add a sound. And the one that we're looking here is just called ms dash. I'm just gonna call this here ms dash. And then we have here pick wood, harvest wood, sorry, pick food, create a garden. Maybe this one? Okay, yeah, we can add this one. So I'm just gonna copy that and paste it, and I'll put it right there. Cool, nice. Now let's go back to these again. Let's add the wood chopping. That one is gonna be nice. Here on the notifications, we're gonna add that. I'm just gonna press paste, I think, and then I'm just gonna change that to be harvest. Where is it? Harvest wood. Nice. And now the last one is this one, where we're gonna add a new track as well. I'm gonna add where is it? Here. Yep. Play a sound, and the sound that I'm gonna play here, let's search for harvest. So we have harvest stone, harvest wood, or actually ms character. So the first one was garden, this one is pick food. Alright, I'm gonna copy that, paste it, and drag it right there. So let's see the audio here. Okay, cool, nice. So if I press play here, let's see the stone. Stone. Nice. Just making a noise. Cool. If I go back to get this, it's also making a noise, which is really good. And if I do that, it's also making a noise. Cool. And let's just test the house. We know the house was working because we tested before, but let's just see it. Cool. We got the house kind of working the way we're looking for. So we have now a footstep, we have all this audio and all this stuff working for us. I think the next thing that we need to do here is I wanted to start on a kind of actually, let me think about as well. One thing I forgot, which I would like to do, is we have a crate. I'm not sure how we're gonna use that, but we have, I think, a box that we can carry around. Building foliage. Let me see. We have a box. Character environments. Let's see if I found the box. Crate. Well, I don't have that thing here. But anyway, so what I'm gonna be starting to do here is that I'm gonna add another mechanic, which is if the character is enabled, so is allowed to get wood or to get stone or all sorts of stuff. So we're gonna create something here where it's gonna basically say, okay, you need to be allowed to require stone to interact with this item, you need to have a hammer or whatever. So we're gonna be doing this right now, so you can actually grab this. So to start this, actually, access known, try actor handler interaction. Let me see. This thing's very annoying. So I'm just gonna make sure that this is valid, just so we stop with this error here altogether, because it's very annoying to do this. Pause and save. And let's see if that works. Okay, shouldn't have that error anymore. Still having error. Run survival, it's valid. Well, I'm gonna leave it as it is. I think it's because I'm not inside the interaction zone. That's why it's doing this issue. But anyway, cool. So to start with this, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to our character. Nope, not that one. Blueprint. And on the actor interaction, the actor info component, I'm gonna go back to the ST actions st actor info, and I'm gonna add a couple of variables in here to basically say, hey, are you allowed to interact with this? Yes or no. Alright guys, yeah, so now that we have this stuff open, the resource actor info, it's open, we need to create 3 variables that will allow us to enable the resource gathering for certain things. Let me just double check if this is the best way of doing this. Maybe this is not the best way of doing this, and I'm gonna tell you why. So remember that we have this resource type, right? So we have food resource, wood resource, stone resource, and building resource, right? That means that when we have our brush, or in this case is food resource, and so on and so forward. And the building one, if I go to a building house, let's just bring a house here for example, that resource type here is set up to building, right? So with that idea, what we can do here is, why this doesn't delete, sorry. So what we can do here, on the actor info, I'm gonna create a new variable called allowed resource interaction, right? This is going to be enum of resource type. All right, make sure you select that. Make sure it's an array. Okay, we're gonna save this. Now remember that thing that I told you, that every time you change something on here you have to close the engine, so let's do that one right now. Alright guys, yeah, so I have just restarted the engine, and now we can open up the actor info. So we have added this. Make sure that's set up to 0 because we don't want to interact with anything. Now what we're gonna do here is that we need to check before the player interacts with the resource what type the resource is, and he needs to see basically, okay, does this player has this resource type so he can interact with this object. So to do that, we're gonna go back here to our character. Oh, not that, the blueprint. Let's go back to, where can we go here? The characters, players, and the survival controller. If you guys remember correctly, the place where we start in the interaction, what is it? Is here, get the interaction resource. That's where we get the resource tool handle, or actually interaction start. Let's call interaction start. Cool. Now that we have this, this is where we start the interaction. So if I put, for example, if I do a print here, right? Print string, and I interact, for example, with stone, it does a hello that, right? So if I come in here and it should do this, and so on and so forward, right? Cool. Now that we know where this is triggered, I am just gonna increase this a little bit to the side just so I can have some space to work on. And in here is, I'm gonna keep like that, the way it is. I'm gonna do like this. So we're gonna have the actor, it's gonna spawn the actor, it's gonna do actor attached to actor. Is this the right place? Sorry, that's the wrong place to do this. Let me just do a couple of Ctrl Z. This is the to equip. We don't care about the to. We want something that runs before this. And if you find the references by name, we are calling this on the handle actor interaction, which is being called right here, right? So what we're gonna do here, this function, and if you guys remember what we call this function, let me just show you what we call the function. This function is being called right here. So we get interaction, make sure it's valid, we set the actor rotation, and then it calls the function. But anyway, So what we can do here is that we can get the info which already have here. I am just gonna do it this, like that. Let me just align this properly. Cool. Now, so if we have an actor that is valid for us, what I'm probably gonna even do here is I'm gonna promote this to a variable called actor info. And I like to do this just because it's easy to work with this. Right, okay. Now we do that. What we can do here is that we can break this and we can basically check what kind of resource type is this, right? So in our case, is resource type of blah, right? So now we need to get our, if you guys remember, we have the get actor info here, right? Actually, we need the stats. Now we can break this, and if you guys remember, we have this new allowed resources. And what I can do, I can just call a node called find item, and the item I can try to look for, it's gonna be this one right here, right? So now we need to handle this, right? And I'm just gonna plug it like that. And now let's read the output here. So if the index is -1, if not found, okay. So if that returns -1 for us, that means it hasn't not been found. So let's do a printing here, and let's check what happened when we try to interact with anything. Let's see if that it's working out of the box. So if I come here and press to interact, -1. All right, -1. Cool, great. Now what we're gonna do here is for the player. Let's go back to the player controller. Open up the player. I'm gonna go to the actor info component, and I am gonna go to info, and in here I'm gonna set the allowed resource interaction to, let's say, only food, so you can only capture food. So if I go back in here and test this to this, it's gonna return -1. But if I go back in here, hopefully it should. Why is it not interacting? There you go. You see, it's returning 0. It's returning the first index. So that means that this is working properly. Alright, so what we're gonna do here, guys, is that I'm gonna pause the video right now. It's just because it got a little bit longer. And then in the next episode, we're gonna create this logic and display the UI to reflect, hey, you need an axe, you need a wood resource, you need, and then we're gonna be starting to create like I'm not gonna go down the route of creating an inventory system for this, but I'm gonna create something where if you find an axe in the world, you're gonna be able to collect it, or you should be able to craft. So we probably could create some resource which is in between called resource materials, and then you can use that to build an axe, place in the world, equip the axe, and then you can start to catch everything. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.